Welcome back to Buy or Buy. 147 to 214 horsepower, electric Nissan hatchback. 149 to 226 mile range, CHAdeMO fast charge. The only new EV in America still using the dying charging standard, with an air-cooled battery that bakes itself in hot climates. $29,235 new in 2024. $5,000 used. The cheapest working EV in 2026 if you understand what you're buying. All right, let's just jump right into this explainer and completely tear down the second-generation Nissan Leaf.
Section 1. Who and cross-shop. Let's talk directly to you, the budget-conscious EV buyer.
I mean, just look at these numbers, $5,000 to $15,000. If you've got that kind of cash burning a hole in your pocket, you are literally looking at the rock-bottom price floor for a modern working EV. We're talking about a car that still offers up to 226 miles of EPA range and an intact 8-year, 100,000-mile battery warranty, all from a car that costs less than most used gas clunkers. It is an absolutely insane value proposition.
Now, you're definitely cross-shopping this thing. You're probably looking at the post-recall Chevy Bolt EV, which, by the way, we've covered separately as the ultimate CCS bargain right now. Or maybe the Kona Electric, the Ioniq Electric, an e-Golf, maybe an iMive or a Smart EQ for 2. Or honestly, you're just thinking about settling for some beat-up 10-year-old gas-powered Corolla under 12 grand. You want maximum range for minimum cash, and you love that massive Nissan dealer network safety net.
But to snag this screaming bargain, you gotta accept a few harsh realities. First, that dying CHAdeMO plug. You are adopting an orphan standard, plain and simple. You also have to accept an air-cooled battery that literally hates hot climates, deal with Rapidgate where your fast charge speeds drop to an absolute crawl, and acknowledge that the upcoming 2026 NACS-equipped third-generation Leaf makes this ZE1 chassis instantly obsolete. Bottom line, Section 2, the gems. Now let's dig into exactly why this heavily depreciated hatchback is secretly a brilliant purchase. Let's talk about the powertrain, because it is sneaky fast. The base 40 kilowatt-hour pack gives you 147 horsepower and 236 pound-feet of instant torque, which is plenty punchy for your daily commute. But if you grab the 62 kilowatt-hour plus model, oh man, you get a genuinely quick 214 horsepower and 250 pound-feet of torque. You're ripping 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds through a single-speed direct drive. It's shockingly fun. And the chassis and tech wins here are totally legit. It sits on the Nissan EV2 platform, giving you a sub 3,500-pound curb weight on the standard model. That is incredibly light for an EV. The battery is in the floor, so the center of gravity is fantastic. Plus, you get Nissan's e-pedal, which is highly praised for really well-tuned one-pedal driving. And if you snag the SV or SL trims, ProPILOT Assist comes standard, giving you incredibly competitive adaptive cruise control and lane centering for this price class. So how do you navigate the used market? Well, 2018 brought the ZE1 Gen 2 launch with a 40 kilowatt-hour, 149-mile setup. Then in 2019, Nissan drops the Plus model, massive 62 kilowatt-hour battery, 226 miles of range. Now here's the trick. Target 2020 and newer if you want standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto on that 8-inch touchscreen. 2023 gets a little facelift, and 2024? Well, that's the absolute final year of that CHAdeMO connector. Also, we gotta put some respect on its name. The Leaf literally launched the modern EV era back in 2010. This thing was the world's best-selling EV all the way until the Tesla Model 3 dethroned it in 2020. Built right here in the US at the Nissan Smyrna Tennessee plant, the ZE1 chassis carries that legacy proudly. And remember, ProPILOT Assist was Nissan's very first major push into Level 2 autonomy. But honestly, the real killer angle here, the reason you actually pull the trigger on this car, is the pure economics of it all. You're buying a working EV for less than a decade-old gas-powered Corolla. Your yearly ownership cost? Try $400 to $700 for some electricity and minimal maintenance. Put that up against $2,000 to $3,000 a year for a comparable gas car, you're saving $1,000 to $1,500 annually. And it's backed by a massive Nissan dealer network and an 8-year, 100K-mile battery warranty that kicks in if capacity drops below 9 out of 12 bars. It is absolute protection against catastrophic failure. Bottom line, Section 3, the issues. All right, time to cut the hype. We need to expose the fatal structural flaws that completely tanked the value of this car in the first place. First up, the critical defining failure. I call it the Betamax of EV charging, the CHAdeMO port. Nissan aggressively pushed this standard and, well, they lost. Hard. Nissan offers 0 adapters for CCS or NACS. CHAdeMO stations are actively being ripped out of the ground as we speak. Let me be perfectly clear here.
This is strictly not a road trip car once you leave your local zip code. Then we have to talk about the battery itself. Nissan stubbornly refused to add liquid cooling to the Gen 2 battery pack. They stuck with passive air cooling. What does that mean for you? It means the battery literally bakes itself to death in hot climates. If you live in Phoenix or Houston or Miami, the heat degrades these cells so much faster than in any liquid-cooled competitor. And because it can't cool itself, you're going to hit a wall owners lovingly call Rapidgate. Say you try to DC fast charge a couple of times in one day. The battery management system basically panics. To prevent overheating, it aggressively throttles your charge speeds from 50 kilowatts all the way down to 20 kilowatts, or even less. It drops to an absolute crawl. And the kicker? There is absolutely no software fix for this. It is a permanent structural limitation. Moving down the list, we hit the moderate headaches. Out-of-warranty brake actuator failures on the regen system, yeah, those can hit you for $1,500 to $2,500. You've got annoying 12-volt battery drains that'll run you a few $100s. In extreme cold, expect massive 40% range drops, which is made worse by super limited preconditioning. Oh, and level 2 AC charging, it's a sluggish 6.6 kilowatts, while modern rivals are pulling 11. Then there's the daily friction. ProPILOT Assist loves to throw phantom braking events and traffic sign recognition errors at you. The infotainment can be super sluggish with dated navigation, especially if you're looking at pre-2020 models. You'll definitely notice charge board wear around the fast charge port, plus bumper paint chipping. That e-pedal, you have to manually re-engage it every single time you start the car. Also, that instant torque we praised earlier, it absolutely devours front tires. Combine that with a slightly tight 23.6 cubic feet of cargo space, no panoramic moonroof option, and some frankly dated interior plastics, you really have to know what you're signing up for. Bottom line, verdict? Should you actually buy it? Maybe. Honestly, it's a massive, bold maybe. Look, the Gen 2 Leaf offers the absolute cheapest working EV pricing on the planet right now. 4 to 18 grand gets you legitimate range, ProPILOT Assist, and a solid battery warranty. But the CHAdeMO orphaning is a catastrophic reality that's only getting worse. That air-cooled battery degradation in the heat is very real. Rapidgate is a permanent flaw. And yes, the upcoming NACS-equipped 3rd gen makes the ZE1 immediately obsolete. So if you're actually going to do this, here is your exact blueprint. Target a 2019 to 2022 SV Plus or SL Plus. Demand a verified 11 out of 12 battery capacity bars on the dash. You want a car with a history of mostly level 2 home charging. You absolutely must live in a mild climate, no Phoenix, no Houston. And make sure it has at least 4 years left on that 8-year, 100K warranty. Now, if you're a hardcore bargain hunter, maybe look at a 40 kilowatt-hour S, SV, or SL model for under 8 grand. But literally only if you plan to exclusively charge at home. On the flip side, you say a hard buy to absolutely any example with an ownership history in Arizona, Texas, or Florida, period. The heat damage is already done. And walk away immediately from any dashboard showing less than 9 capacity bars. Don't even think about it. Which leaves us with one final question. Are you willing to embrace the Betamax of EVs just to secure the ultimate $5,000 commuter bargain? Think about it. You can get a thoroughly modern, US-built electric hatchback for less than the price of a beat-up 10-year-old gas car. The value is totally undeniable, just as long as you know exactly what you were getting yourself into and you never, ever plan on taking a road trip again.